Nickel Plate Arts, featuring 30 miles of art from Fishers to Tipton and headquartered in historic downtown Noblesville, including galleries, studios, and classrooms. Information is available at nickelplatearts.org.
This week on The Art of the Matter, the event is the Spirit and Place Festival 2013. The theme is risk, the challenge to search for bold and innovative ways to talk about the issue of race.
We'll see how 4 social entrepreneurs plan to start the conversation in a one-of-a-kind competition for a $20,000 prize.
Welcome to The Art of the Matter. I'm Travis DiNicola.
And I'm Sharon Gamble. Race, a simple word, and yet it influences in so many ways the way we think about ourselves and how we relate to others.
It's been an issue ever since the founding of our country, yet perfect racial harmony remains elusive in our society to this day.
As part of this year's Spirit and Place Festival, our community is taking a novel approach to the subject of race by staging a competition to find innovative ways to readdress and reinvigorate the discussion about this complex subject.
Risk is opportunity, chances. Fear. Risk is alive.
The theme of this year's Spirit and Place Festival is risk. And there's nothing like starting off the 10-day event with a bang.
We really looked at the title of risk and how can we be as risky as possible.
These are the 4 finalists out of 43 entrants in what's called a competition about race, vying for a $20,000 prize to bring to life a bold and innovative approach to address the issue of race in Indianapolis. Denicia Malone's using art to remind a diverse community that we're all part of a bigger picture, accompanied by opportunities for each of us to share stories of common ground and perhaps to speak honestly about times when we might not have remained as open-minded as we would like to be.
I think there's something being born kind of called artivism. So all of these world issues are going to take creative approaches to fix anything. And so how can you involve as many people as possible? The more brains you can bring to the table, the richer the outcome you're going to get.
Javier Barrera plans to film a documentary about race as a mechanism to draw more people into the issue, opening the door to a continuously updated website containing extensive follow-ups, educational materials for future debates, and a chance, once again, for each of us to post our own thoughts about the subject. These are 21st century approaches to an issue that these social entrepreneurs believe has itself morphed over time.
I've experienced some things of racism, but it was never what my mother or my grandfather ever experienced.
We don't see a lot of people that if I go walking on the street that might call me a beaner or tell me go back to Mexico. But now we'd see it in a more subtle and elegant way.
Institutionalized racism?
I mean, hiring practices, the way that people get into colleges and universities, a way of how institutions now have the power, and have the power for a while to decide who makes it.
You have this excellent education, yet you can't get a job because of the color of your skin, because of the lack of connections you were able to make. We want them to be able to take hold of it at an early age so that fear does not exist.
Breaking down those barriers on who makes it is one theme for finalist number 3. Deshawn Perry Smitherman, along with Erica Gibson, founded A Girl's Gift 5 years ago. A Girl's Gift links girls between the ages of 10 and 13 with adult mentors to help them with self-esteem and financial literacy. One way that's done is to help the girls develop business plans for fledgling enterprises that a preteen can handle, and then can give them a true taste of what it would be like, again, to make it in the real world. In the past, the matchup has been same race to same race. The new wrinkle?
We think that it's very important to match girls up with mentors, but one of the things that we haven't done was match girls up with mentors of a different race. It may seem a little scary at first to be around people who don't look like you, but once you start getting conversations going, then they see that there are so many commonalities that we all share, and they don't need to think about race as being an issue.
Diverse partnerships will be key to the project. The first of the year will bring a viewing and discussion with girls from Beth El Zedek of And Then They Came For Me, a Holocaust drama at the IRT.
They will also have a Jewish dinner together, a traditional Jewish dinner together, learn about their customs and their culture.
The first thing that caught my attention was the phrase, a competition on race. Racing could address an issue dealing with race. Why not enter the competition?
Changing racial perceptions while promoting profitable career paths is also on the mind of finalist number 4. Pete Hilton, director of the IUPUI Motorsports Engineering Program, sees racing as a perfect metaphor.
Motorsports is a very team-oriented activity. A driver does not win a race on his own. And the motorsports teams are made up of very diverse individuals. We normally think of that in terms of diverse in skill set, but there's no reason it can't be diverse in terms of cultural background as well.
The plan is to build several diverse teams of young people, led by students from both IUPUI School of Liberal Arts and the engineering program. At several public venues and over several weeks, they'll be given a racing problem to solve, and, like any good driver, pit crew, and mechanic team, they'll be asked to find answers. The give and take between group members of different races and backgrounds will be on full display.
So 2 things will be happening at the same time. They'll be working in an interracial team where they can show their own skills, learn other people's skills and backgrounds, and prove to themselves that they can work in a team regardless of what the background of the individual members of that team is. But you never know what's going to happen when you mix things in a cauldron, and that's really what we're going to do. So I'm not asking people to ignore racial or cultural background, certainly not to forget it, but to realize that it doesn't need to be a roadblock to success in working in a team with people of different cultures.
The project's loftier goal deals with Indiana's workforce, with a focus that might be a boon to the entire state.
We have a real shortage of minority students entering technical careers. I think the most unique piece of the project that I proposed is the tie to careers. Look down a different path that they've never seen before. And in the end, by diminishing the racial unbalance in certain career fields, to better that field.
No matter the outcome, one thing is certain. Once the conversation begins anew, Denicia, Pete, Deshong, and Javier are determined to keep the dialogue in play.
The number one thing is that we're saying that we're not going to talk about race behind closed doors. Everybody has experienced something with race, whether you've initiated or you've helped it or you've perpetuated it or however you've engaged with it. We've all done something around the issue of race and racism. And so now's the time to say, I'm going to face my fears.
The part of me being hopeful, maybe people are ready to have the conversation that we haven't had in a long time, or that we are trying to put away for next year or for next time, for the next event. So hopefully that is the ultimate goal of this competition, to spark that conversation and keep it going.
In a racially mixed school, how the African Americans sit with the African Americans, the whites sit with the whites, the Hispanics sit with the Hispanics, the Asians sit with the Asians. Everybody sits in their safe cultural zone. It's something that I see when I go out into the world. We want these girls to be brave. We want these girls to feel like they have a place at any table they go to.
You walk downtown, you see situations on one side of the street where you think everyone's behaving exactly as if color was irrelevant to the situation. Turn the corner and walk down a different street, you may see another scenario. I think we need to continue to address the differences. We have a long-standing history in this country that has to be overcome.
What I really look forward to is hopefully this will spark someone else to do something bigger or something bolder, and just keep doing that rollover effect. So this is just the beginning to something much more outrageous than I could ever think of.
And maybe these innovative approaches could be the catalyst to keep venturing further out on that limb to create a true racial harmony. After all, to quote writer Alexander Smith, everything is sweetened by risk.